All right, so our first news story of the day is going to be for Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down there. 14 years she was the head of Lucasfilm there, but she's stepping down there, and Dave Filoni and executive Lin-Wen Brian is taking over there. Now, I know about Dave Filoni. People know about him. He's been the content. He's been the director of a lot of the animated shows. Then he does more of the live action stuff for Star Wars now. He created Rebels, which I never finished Rebels. I liked quite a bit of Rebels there. And he's also the guy who showruns Ahsoka as well, doesn't he? He showruns that as well there, which has a lot of his characters there. But this is from the Hollywood Reporter. So it says, after 14 years guiding Star Wars into the modern era through all its ups and downs, Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down as the president of Lucasfilm. Her departure from the company, which is effective this week, has been long expected there. As we talked about before, I did a story there, which is on the channel as well, about, you know, who could eventually replace her, who we wanted to replace her there. Dave Filoni was one of the names that I talked about him. And I wanted the guy who did Andor as well, who probably would be the other name I picked. His name is Tony Gilroy, Gilroy, who does Andor, but I don't think he has any interest in Star Wars or doing something like that. Like
Gilroy is, I think Gilroy was just interested in trying to tell the story that he wanted to tell, and Kennedy gave him the green light to with Andor, and he did it. You know, got some Emmy nominations, made, I think, one of the greatest series run of television in modern history, and dipped.
Yeah. So he doesn't really have, I don't think, any interest in doing anything like that. But he would have been my choice there, because I think they would have balanced each other out. I think Dave Filoni, my issue with him is that he leans too much into the nostalgia and his own characters and the, kind of the whole stuff with Star Wars, but Easter eggs and all that. I think that's kind of a big problem that it needs to steer away from. But but still marks the seismic shift for one of the biggest brands in Hollywood. And Kennedy has a long history in Hollywood. She produced a lot of movies there, as it talks about here, such as Indiana Jones and E.T. there as well. She did a lot of that work for that. So what do you guys think about this move here with Kathleen Kennedy stepping down and the new leadership taking over there?
So as far as the new leadership goes, I think it's probably the best idea to have two co-presidents where Dave Filoni can handle the creative side of things and Lin-Wen Brian can handle the business side of things. I'm kind of with you where I like Dave Filoni's work a lot, but I kind of feel like I hope his stuff isn't just so much about his own stuff in the future, but I think he's a good choice. And as far as Kathleen Kennedy goes, you're absolutely right that she's a fantastic producer. Just look up her resume. It's basically impeccable, but I honestly think she leaves a very mixed legacy as the head of Lucasfilm and Star Wars, because, the sequel trilogy is a very flawed piece of filmmaking. Granted, The Mandalorian and Andor are real highlights, but at the same time, there are tons of projects that either went totally unrealized or severely compromised in one way or another. So, I have nothing against Kathleen Kennedy, but I just feel like on the whole, her work is very messy and flawed with Star Wars, unfortunately.
What about you there?
I'm kind of right there with you. I'm enjoying seeing a lot of these studios, especially like we talked about a while ago with DC Studios, how that went through a regime change, how they have two co-CEOs, one with in this case Dave Filoni, who I guess would be handling more of the creative side. And have liked more often than not, I have liked what Dave Filoni has done with Star Wars. Even recently, even stuff like Ahsoka, which I think is, a very flawed season of television, when it did use those member berries that we, like to poke fun of a lot, especially with the reintroduction of Anakin in that show, I always felt like it did a good job of servicing character rather than just doing the jingle keys for the audience. And I always felt like he found that balance better than a lot of the other creatives that were brought into Star Wars. However, kind of like what you were saying, Neil, Kathleen Kennedy with Lucasfilm, she has been at the forefront for a couple of my favorite things ever from Star Wars, like Andor, like The Last Jedi, even stuff like Bad Batch, and finally, closing out the Clone Wars. But so many projects unrealized, so many, stuff that was completely messy, how the sequel trilogy was handled, where they did something that was, very bold and very different for Star Wars and was, willing to take chances, only to immediately backtrack for the next film.
Yeah. And I know there was something where they reported, I think it was Culture Crave or maybe something else, but Kathleen Kennedy had her saying that Rian Johnson was spooked about the reaction to The Last Jedi. And then he, I think, quote tweeted it. It was like, no, I wasn't spooked at all. Like, I wasn't spooked about the reactions.
Fake news. Fake news.
So he said that. So he's like, no, that didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, we talked about this Sage when he was on the show, when we talked about this news of her eventually stepping down. Was that eventually that, yeah, I mean, I think that whoever had that job was in a difficult position because she has bosses also ahead of her that want a bottom line, that want a thing there to happen. And it's very a mixed legacy of, like I said, we discussed her success of it with the films. Most of the films didn't make over $1 billion and were very successful. Now the shows, I don't know how they measured the success of the shows and how that counts. But the fan reaction to it and people calling for George Lucas back, but George Lucas ran away from the fans too. They were annoying as fuck.
Yeah, the fans drove George Lucas away from fucking Lucasfilm just like they did Kennedy.
Right. That's the ultimate frustrating thing, is because like I love Star Wars. It's like my favorite sci-fi fantasy IP like series, but at the same time, the fans are just insufferable sometimes, to be quite honest.
It is the second worst fandom on the internet, next to the Zack Snyder fandom.
Very, very true statement.
Yeah. So I think whoever takes up that job has this daunting task of trying to serve both the fans and the corporate overlords and trying to figure that out and trying to balance it. But yeah, I mean, I think as a brand, will Dave Filoni give people what they want and doing all that? I mean, I know there was that thing going around with him saying he didn't like Andor, which that wasn't true at all. There was something that I think the Wrap was reporting that, but no, he said how much he kind of liked. So this was a clip of him talking about what Tony Gilroy, I think, did with Andor right here.
You look at something that is taken as different, like Andor. It's so well done, and Tony and his team do such a phenomenal job that I think that there's an audience for that. I think also with that audience, I also though want to still be, hitting the imagination of the kids out there so that they can grow up and appreciate those things.
And he's not wrong. I feel like Star Wars is, one of those IPs that has been around, for so long that you're at this point where you have two roads you can go down. You can keep doing the Disney route, keep playing it safe, keep catering just to try and hit the 4-quadrant audience, or you can learn from what Tony Gilroy did with Andor and realize that there is room for these darker, more mature stories. There's room to get a little creative.
Well, I definitely think Star Wars has like the ability to do a balancing act on that front, because like Andor is not really a show I would recommend for kids at all.
But at the same time, no.
But at the same time, I feel like the original trilogy, the prequels and stuff like Clone Wars and Mandalorian all kind of do a better balancing act of like, having the whimsy and like the more fantastical elements, but also like having more nuanced stories to tell in the series. So I think just moving forward, they have to kind of realize that balance is part of what makes Star Wars so appealing, and just like ride that wave however they can.
Yeah. I don't want everything to be like Andor. I don't want everything. I think there's room for both. Yeah,
exactly. And not everything needs to be like Andor. We kind of had this conversation back with DC, when The Dark Knight came out, and every property from that studio just became about, we got to do like Superman's The Dark Knight. We got to make, the Green Lantern dark. And that doesn't work for every character. that kind of tone and that kind of, gritty realism, that doesn't work for like 90 to 95% of Star Wars.
Yeah.
No.
And Kathleen Kennedy, so her last two projects before she fully exits is you have The Mandalorian and Grogu, which we did see a trailer for. There's that's coming out this year in May. And then a year from now, it'll be that movie with Ryan Gosling, this Starfighter.
Yeah, Starfighter, directed by Sean Levy.
So there's that one. Now we talked about the trailer. I think did I talk about it with you, Nick, or I don't remember. I don't think I did. I think it was just Dusk. I talked about this trailer.
I see this trailer and I feel nothing.
Yeah, it just looks like an episode of the show. I mean, it really isn't anything really kind of big or like, oh, this is a movie version of it. Just kind of looks like, oh, it's just a episode of the show, really.
I think that's a very fair assessment. It does just kind of look like a Disney Plus movie that got into theaters.
Now, I don't know how much this is going to make. I don't know how well it's going to do. I think that'll depend again, if people are still hungry for the brand. I think maybe will they pivot after they see the reaction of this and go like, oh, okay, well, maybe that will dictate some of where they want to go as far as the new direction of it under the new leadership. This is coming out in May. I don't know the other big movies, if there are any other big things coming out in May. I'm surprised they didn't try to put it in December since Avatar's got nothing. They're not going to. Well, actually, December they can't because they got Avengers.
they got Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah, so they can't come in December. So that's already booked up solid. So they can't do it then. But yeah. So do you think this movie will do well, The Mandalorian and Grogu, or?
I think it'll do okay. I don't think it's gonna make like $1 billion or anything like that, but I think it'll do okay because Mandalorian and Grogu are the best parts of the Disney era Star Wars. And even if this is just like an extended episode of the TV show, let's be real, this is probably going to be better than The Rise of Skywalker, and it's probably going to be better than The Acolyte or Skeleton Crew or Obi-Wan. So I think it'll do reasonably well.
I mean, how often does theatrically released movies based on TV, how often does that like do well? Because I don't think it does. I think more often than not, like when you release a movie in theaters that's based on a TV show that was airing not that long ago, there's a sentiment with audiences. It was like, okay, why would I go out to a theater when I could just watch this on TV? And that's even more noticeable when you look at the trailer and, the quality of the filmmaking in it. It's not that much better than what's on Disney Plus.
The only thing I think of that was like really successful was maybe the Simpsons movie, but that's kind of an outlier.
That's also
you're saying.
That's also like a different time too, because the Simpsons had been around for so long, and even like when you compare episodes of what was airing on The Simpsons at that time to like the animation in the movie, the quality is like miles ahead of it.
Yeah. So, like you said, I mean, that's kind of my thing with it with The Mandalorian was that, why go to the theater to go see it when, like I said, you can get that same entertainment at home and you're so used to seeing it at home? Will people all of a sudden get up on, on their couch and go, why would I go see it in the theater? But we'll see. We'll see how it does there. Maybe people want to, maybe there'll be like a Grogu popcorn bucket and people go like, well, I got to go see it now. It's a Grogu popcorn bucket.
AMC and Regal are just like chomping at the bits to make the Grogu popcorn bucket at this point.
Yeah. So, that was our thoughts though. Mandalorian, Grogu, and Kathleen Kennedy stepping down. Let's see. Hopefully, Dave Filoni maybe turns the ship around. And maybe does something great there. So
one last thought about Filoni. The main thing I would want from Star Wars the future is that we gotta actually move the franchise forward. Like if Star Wars is a universe, it can't just be Skywalkers or Darth Vader or Stormtrooper adjacent things all the time. Like we gotta move stuff forward. So hopefully Dave does that, and I hope the best for him on that.
Yeah. All right. So another thing, there. So did you all watch SNL, Finn Wolfhard hosting? Did y'all watch that?
I don't think I've sat down and watched like a whole episode of SNL in years. I mostly just watch the sketches when they come to YouTube.
Not yet. My wife likes SNL, but we haven't seen that episode yet.
Oh, she watches it regularly every Saturday night. She's
Not
there?
not every Saturday, but like once every couple of weeks would be like, oh, Sabrina Carpenter was on it. Let's see it. That sort of thing.
Okay. Yeah. So there was some little bit of controversy kind of going on with Finn Wolfhard there on SNL. So they did some, jokes there regarding Stranger Things. But I saw a couple of sketches go viral there. I'm going to talk about the one that was controversial there. And then also, I'm going to talk about the ones that were really popular. So they did one Heated Wizardry, which was really, a lot of people really loved that one. So it was a parody of Heated Rivalry, which is like this very popular show on HBO Max right now. It's about two gay hockey players. And then that one they did, but it was about them being the two gay wizards. So they did like a Harry Potter thing with it. I thought that was really good. I thought that one really worked really well. But the one that so people really upset about, I'm going to show the Will coming out scene. So they made fun of that one. And then also they did like a Sex and the City parody also with Stranger Things. So Caleb McLaughlin, and then what's the guy who plays Dustin Glenn?
Oh, Gaten Matarazzo.
Gaten Matarazzo. Okay, I said Glenn. So you had that as well there with that. So I'm gonna do the Will coming out one first, and I'll go back to the other one that people are kind of upset about, and get you kind of guys' thoughts on it. But this was the coming out one with Will.
All going on. Guys, I'm gay. Meaning the courage to tell you the truth. And the truth is, I am gay. Zing at all of your faces. You should know that I like D. And D. Dungeons just like you guys. Everyone.
So people were like a little mad because they're like it's making fun of a character for coming out and everything like that. So this was kind of one of the. I'll show you some of the reaction that people had that was kind of negative towards it. I'll show you that one there.
Okay, all right.
Let's see.
Because I'm looking at that sketch, and it's like it's not so much making fun of like a character coming out; it's making fun of how long that Netflix and the Duffer Brothers were dragging out the final season of Stranger Things.
Right,
Which they were.
True.
All right, let's take a look.
Stranger Things Saturday Night Live skit just not funny. Literally, the only thing I found kind of funny was Mike's nosebleed. And he was just like, oh, no. That's just Coke. But then they followed it up with a pretty disgusting joke about Max. And then they followed that up with a sprinkle of homophobia. But hey, I don't know. Maybe making jokes that smell like sexual assault and then following it up by downplaying one of the most traumatic moments in a queer person's life is true humor. I don't know. Maybe using lazy 5th grade humor is better than writing something actually funny. Hell, I'm surprised there wasn't a little racist joke thrown in there. Since we're taking the 5th grade humor route, I don't know. Maybe it is all just me because so many people are sharing that goddamn skit and commenting on that goddamn skit, calling that shit hilarious. And I just sat there like this the whole time.
And I'm going to show the one he's talking about there. The one they did before that one, people talk about the Max joke. But first, let's talk about the Will thing. So like you said, I think it's more making fun of just how bad that writing in that scene was, not necessarily Will coming out. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's not that serious, guys. I mean, they're way. I don't know. I just don't have the energy to get mad at stuff like this. It's not that serious.
It's like I have a job, man. I'm not gonna waste my time getting upset about a joke about a show that I didn't even finish.
Wow, you didn't finish?
I didn't even finish Stranger Things. That's how little I cared by the end of it.
Josh, you're in the No Stranger Things club in this episode, I guess.
I mean, I'm the only one. I mean, I finished it and I reviewed it with Chris from the Black Stuff podcast. Nobody wanted. Nobody wanted to finish season 5. Right. Yeah. I mean, and then the fact that they announced afterwards that it took 12 hours for them to do that scene, and
I think that speaks more to how shit an actor Noah Schnapp is than anything.
And it's just like the awkwardness of the scene because you got everybody just standing there, sitting down, watching him talk about this when it should have been just close friends. It should have been Dustin and Lucas and Mike and his mom and his brother, and then maybe also Max and maybe 11 should have been. And that's it. But you got not only them but then you got Murray, you got Robin, you got Steve, you got Hopper's there. Like
you got their dog, you got their aunts, you got
You got
everyone.
Vecna, who's there also in the corner.
You got the mayor that's there. You know what I mean? Like, it's Will Day. Is Will's coming out day? Gonna rename the day? Like, I mean, everybody's there, and it's just like such this awkward kind of scene there, and how they kind of did it.
It's very much a TV scene because, like, it's not to say and not to bring the whole like, well, in real life when it applies to Stranger Things, but it's just very kind of like staged and just like very much written to be an important scene rather than just feeling natural or anything like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, because I've seen the scene. I've seen the scene on YouTube, and that's what it felt like. This was a scene that was written to feel important rather than trusting your actors, trusting your writing to let it just have the weight of the scene come naturally.
Yeah. And of course, there's people that, obviously were just hating the scene because, he was gay, even though Stranger Things fans, they already knew Will was gay already. I mean, I think that was already a thing pretty much already.
Well, like in the beginning of season 3, there was that whole scene where like, they're at school and like, it's very obvious that he's like, they hint at he's gay. So it's like not exactly news on that front.
Yeah. And then this was the other joke. I'm going to get to the other joke that people were talking about, like a kind of a weird sex, but it seems like people are misreading what they were saying there with the whole Max thing. And I want to get you guys' thoughts on it as well.
Okay.
And ever since, my series of bad dates has been a never-ending story. I'm a disaster. Well, Max and I start off high and heavy, right? But then, a couple years in, she just lies there like she's back in that coma.
Oh, Lucas, you're bad.
Mike, your nose. What? Do you have powers?
Oh, no. This is from cocaine.
So that's what they were talking about. So that where he says like, now she just kind of lies there like she's in the coma. People were talking about that, and people were like, that's kind of a weird sexual kind of joke there. What do you guys think about that one?
I don't feel one way or the other about it. It's just, it's Saturday Night Live. It's like most of the sketches on there, most of the sketches miss, and you'll get a couple that are like actual gems.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, it may be kind of a lame joke, but okay.
Yeah.
It's a lame joke. Is it worth, getting upset over? No,
there are other comedy related things to get more upset about than a lame SNL joke.
Yeah. It seems like, it just seems like he's just saying like, like she's kind of just lying there. It still implies that she's, still awake and conscious of what's going on, but it's just like the sex is not good. And plus they're doing a Sex in the City parody. That's what they're doing of the three of them, which is, I think, there's some good back and forth, especially like the nosebleed joke is good as well there. That really works a lot. So I think that's kind of good. And people, liked, the cast kind of and they got like the three, probably the most talented people probably in the cast there, kid-wise, to kind of come and do it. So that kind of worked. But yeah, it just seems kind of like, I don't know, like kind of like a nothing burger type thing kind of going on with the two jokes there with it. I just think people just maybe Stranger Things fans just mad because the season was bad. They feel about the season being bad. So
it's that, and everyone wants to have their 15 minutes of fame online. So it's like, all right, what's the latest thing I can like sort of attach myself to? It's like, SNL stuff.
Yeah, in SNL, like, their humor is pretty basic. You know what I mean? If you get offended by SNL jokes,
if you're getting mad at SNL jokes, you're soft.
Especially, they don't do that much crazy risque stuff like that. Not like maybe like they back the 80s or 70s or something like that. You know what I mean? Was that SNL? Jimmy Fallon did blackface, or was that his own show? He did blackface. I can't remember. I think.
That was Jim. Okay, I think that was on SNL, and that stuff like that. I'm I can definitely get upset about because it's just in bad taste. But like this, just
I mean, it's
feels
in
like-
bad taste. And, not long after that, we had Robert Downey Jr. earn an Oscar nomination for Tropic Thunder.
right.
So there was stuff like that. But yeah, so that was our thoughts there. SNL, Stranger Things there. All right, got one last one. And we're gonna be heading in this review. All right, man.
And newest edition. We might as well just call this segment "Hoes Be Mad."
I mean, they got a new Lara Croft there. What was that actress name who played Alicia Vikander?
Yeah, Alicia Vikander, who was in the last movie they did. That that was supposed to be like an adaptation of the reboot of the video game
of the 2013 game.
Yeah, the 2013 game, and nobody saw it.
Yeah, and it teases a sequel too. She got the two guns, like, oh hey, I'll be back. Like, hey, I got the two guns.
Come back. Keep waiting, bitch.
Confession time. I'm a big Tomb Raider fan. I did not see this movie until it was on USA Network, and I'm kind of glad I didn't see this in theaters because it wasn't that interesting. So
I remember seeing this movie, and my thoughts was just kind of like how I felt about the Uncharted film. Incredibly bland.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like you gotta be a special kind of bad to make Walton Goggins, who's the villain in this, look like he's sleepwalking.
I would much rather watch this than the Uncharted movie because at least Alicia Vikander fit the role of Lara Croft reasonably well, whereas like Uncharted, everyone and their mom is miscast in that movie. So I'd much rather see this than that.
Yeah. And I think I've seen the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movies there. Have you guys seen those ones?
I love the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movie.
When I was a kid, I watched them, but I haven't seen them in decades.
I love the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movies. These are like one of my biggest guilty pleasure movies, and I love how silly they are. I love Angelina Jolie's like, too cool for school attitude about everything. I love these movies. No shame at all. Yeah,
and at least she got a sequel. So she did end up on a sequel. So at least she got two movies that she can say. And yeah, this was Angelina Jolie. I mean, this was peak of her powers, Angelina Jolie. There where you had her, and then people went like, hey, this perfect casting at Angelina Jolie matches the character, and I think Alicia Vikander matched what the reboot games were. So it both fit there, what they were trying to be with the reboot games, much more grounded from what I understand, much more kind of trying to be realistic there, not so over the top.
Well, they're less cartoony than the original games. Like they're still very outlandish, but they're like more realistic in the same way that like the Dark Knight is more realistic Batman. So take with that what you will.
Yeah. And then there was the animated show they did on Netflix, which me and Sage reviewed, which had Haley Atwell, who voiced Lara Croft there. And they're doing a new animated show, aren't they? Or they did a second season to the animated show? I didn't watch it.
I didn't see it.
They did season 2. They did season 2 of that one.
Okay. But now we got Sophie Turner. Sophie Turner, who people might know played what's her name from Stark?
Sansa Stark.
Sansa Stark from Game of Thrones there, and people still mad about it. They're kind of going
one of the many characters who had their arc and development completely thrown out for shock value.
What do you all think first about the look of? Well, first, what do you think about the casting of Sophie Turner as Lara Croft?
I liked Sophie Turner when her character was being developed in Game of Thrones. So I think she's a good actress. I haven't seen her in much stuff other than Game of Thrones, but I hope she does a good job. She looks the part. I think this costume is borderline perfect for Lara Croft Tomb Raider. So I dig it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Is like when Game of Thrones was at its peak, I feel like Sophie Turner was one of the kind of sleeper performances on that show. And I feel like she's an actress that always rises to the material that she's given. She never like exceeds or surpasses it. Because even the stuff that she did post Game of Thrones, like the X-Men movies she was in, which were written horribly, and thus her performance suffered.
Right. Yeah. And she's physically, I mean, people see that photo. I don't know if you guys have seen that of her flexing there. So she's
more ripped than I will ever be.
Definitely bulked up a lot for this role there, and definitely put on a lot of muscle for it.
She's taking the assignment seriously, which I appreciate.
So let me show that right here. This is her right here. So yeah, definitely put on quite a bit of muscle there for this. So she's taking it very seriously. Yeah, look at her right there. Man, she's kind of like Abby, yeah. Like Jesus, okay, don't let her in no golf clubs. So she kind of went from this.
Don't let her handle no golf clubs or hang out with Pedro Pascal.
To this there. So she's put on it. And this is supposed to be an Amazon series there. That's what they're gonna do there for that. So it's not a movie, just a series on Amazon. But yeah, and what do you all think about you said, Neil, it was kind of pitch perfect for Lara Croft. What about you, Neil? What do you think about? I mean, Nick, I'm sorry. Nick, what do you think about the costume for?
Besides the little bit of the game I played, the 2013 game, excuse me, I don't really know much about the game for Tomb Raider. I think from what I've seen, the costume looks good.
Yeah, this costume is based on her classic iteration more than the 2013 game. So she's a bit more of a, hotshot adventurer type character in those games. And yeah, for that version of Lara Croft, I think this is basically a perfect translation from that era.
So yeah, people seem to be they got a white woman, they got a attractive white woman, even though people are saying that she's not attractive. Sophie Turner, I don't know when that happened. People started saying Sophie Turner.
It's the internet. They'll like hoes be mad.
But then you have people like GameStop there, who said that this is not Lara Croft. You got people like GameStop saying that, coming out about it.
Somebody is getting fired.
I was genuinely shocked when I saw that, because like I at first I thought, it's like, okay, is this like kind of a joke in this isn't Lara Croft because she's in games we sell at GameStop kind of way, but nope, they're just incel trolling. So I hope whoever posted that had a good severance package, because they got fired immediately.
That's not Lara Croft, and you are not employed.
Yeah, I don't know. I know GameStop's been doing some things. They've been doing some collabs there, getting more political. They've been doing stuff like with Trump, and did the whole thing like that. Posted a whole image with him hanging out with Halo, with Master Chief from Halo, and handshaking him, and they've been doing that. So yeah, I don't know. They've been doing some kind of weird things kind of lately there, but it's just kind of strange. Yeah, they're saying she's not attractive. Then you have people who going like she as Jolie's the real Lara Croft and all this other stuff like that. It's like, okay. But this has also kind of been a weird thing people have had with Lara Croft, because there's a new game coming out with the character, where people saying, we talked about this, me and Sage, of people saying that she wasn't attractive from the game. And it's like, because they're doing like a new game version of her character, and people saying that wasn't attractive. Let me show, I can show a photo of that. But is it just people just run out of stuff to kind of complain about? Is that what it is basically?
I hate gamers. I'm just going to say it right now. I hate gamers, but this is typical gamer nonsense. Just find some meaningless bullshit to complain about. And this is just prime example of it, because Sophie Turner is an attractive woman. The game looks cool. It's kind of more of a back to basics kind of thrill-seeking Lara in this new game, but it's just, it must be nice to be able to have brain space to complain about stuff like this. I wish I had that amount of brain space.
Yeah, to all the people complaining about that, go outside, get a job, and get a life.
Yeah. And then this is the version that they said didn't look good. Right here, they said that this version didn't look good. This woman, it's like people complained about the one from, when did the reboot games, like 2013? Those reboot games.
2013. It was like they were complaining that character model wasn't attractive, which I can't with these motherfuckers.
Yeah. It looks like Lara Croft. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I guess this is what they want. They want this back. That's what they want back. But I try to make sense of it. I guess it's crazy there.
Don't.
Don't weep for the stupid. You'll be crying all day.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge, so she's developing the series, so she's doing it. Of course, she did Fleabag there, and I think she worked on a little bit of before she left, right, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, right? She
Yeah,
worked on a little bit of
Fleabag. A lot of what she wrote for Mr. and Mrs. Smith ended up in the final product, and she did a lot of rewrites for No Time to Die as well.
Oh, okay. I do like No Time to Die.
Yeah, so at first I was a little like confused because of like what is I don't see the connection between Phoebe Waller-Bridges and Tomb Raider, but then when you bring up No Time to Die, like okay, I could see that working because No Time to Die had a good script, at least to me. So hopefully that translates to Tomb Raider.
Yeah. So it says, Turner's performance will match more of the modern version, more about intelligence, athleticism, survival skills, kind of like that. I'm sure she'll have sexy moments. It's Sophie Turner. I'm sure she'll be still attractive in it, but I don't think that'll.
Yeah. So don't worry, Gooners. You'll have something to, enjoy.
You kind of got that going on. So I'm sure there'll be those moments, but it'll be not as much. It won't be the main focus there of it, of the series there. Will you guys check it out? The Lara Croft Amazon series?
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably end up reviewing it on this show. So yeah, I guess so.
Well,
I'm a big Tomb Raider fan, so yes, I will. And I'll probably enjoy it, and hopefully I'll enjoy it.
Did you want to do a retro review of the game, maybe, Neil? There, maybe one of the games.
Yeah, I could do a retro review of like the 2013 game because that's the most like recent starting off point, or even the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movie. I could do that.
Yeah, that'd be fun to do. We could do a retro review there, the Angelina Jolie film or the Alicia Vikander film. Yeah, we could kind of do that there of it. So yeah, that was our thoughts. Sophie Turner, Lara Croft there. Lara Croft.
Good luck, Miss Turner. Good luck.
Good luck, and stay off the internet for a couple months.